wanted to record this as soon as I got back from the doctors, but I felt like I needed to write some things down. Unfortunately, when I got to the surgery today, I used the machine to check in, and my appointment wasn't there, and so I went to the reception, and they just simply couldn't find the appointment. So it was a bit of a jarring experience, because there'd been quite a lot built up, and a lot was sort of endured to wait out until my appointment over especially the last week, and a lot of strength was kind of had to be built up a little bit just to get through the appointment, and then have the news that they couldn't find it on the system. And it's I said to the receptionist, these things happen, which is quite true. It's, whatever the issue was, whether my appointment wasn't recorded properly in the system, or whether it's a technological issue where it just but I stood outside the surgery, not knowing what to do. I was kind of just maybe a little bit shocked and thinking, just there's so much sort of riding on getting through the appointment and saying what I needed to say, and now it feels like I almost have to kind of keep hold of that weight until this upcoming Tuesday, which is when they were able to book me in next. So I ended up coming back home. I got a few things from the shop, and I ended up coming back home, and immediately I started writing or adding to my notes that I had originally for the doctor. And that was just a painful experience as well, just to try and make things clear in the notes, and that I need help and how to word things. It's a painful experience because it feels like I can't quite get to what I want to say, and it's just, every sort of scream comes out in a somber whisper instead. And I was doing my best to relay what I'm feeling onto the paper, so it's received that way. And I'm not sure if I've done that, but I'm not sure it's possible I have the capacity to write the words to give an accurate or a full sort of explanation of things. I'm also aware that the time of the doctor appointment is going to be very limited, so it doesn't serve me well to write a big document that. And as I was writing it, I it's frustrating because I'm struggling to talk. As I wrote the document, I was going back and forth on whether I should just give that document to the doctor to read, or if I should read it myself. And both didn't seem like great options, really, because it just felt stressful to do. But maybe potentially giving it to the doctor to read might be less stressful than me having to try and convey it. It might just be one less thing for me to do. So that's the current plan for Tuesdays, to so at some point before then I can get the short notes printed off, and I can take it in with me to the doctor. What I've written on there is just a couple of very short paragraphs at the top, just to explain why I've written it. That I've written the doctor's notes, these notes because it's becoming increasingly traumatic and difficult, distressing to talk about my health, and the effort to do so causes more harm. And then I've kind of written a very short list of things. One of them is, I think I can't remember if I went through this in my last vlog, but one of them is just asking for, explaining that I don't know what help I need, and I need help in finding out that help, versus being presented with the question of, what is it you need, and it just all falling on my shoulders, which is not possible to answer that. But I still feel very worked up, and I feel very, I guess because I'm in that sort of limbo space. It's a theme I've talked about before in my health, where I don't appear severely unwell. There's an appearance of being unwell, but not severely unwell, and I think being in that middle space of that, it feels like I'm kind of in limbo. If I was severely unwell, then lines would be clearer, delineated, of okay, this is what we can do. It feels like I'm heading, I don't really want to say that, heading that way, but I guess what I don't want to happen is for me to get to a very difficult stage of health where it's too late to try and explain, and I don't know if at that point things will just be misinterpreted, or I feel like I'm close to that stage, really. I wrote the word breaking point in the doctor's notes as well. I'm at breaking point, which feels quite accurate. And there's lots of frustration and anger building in me. And again, I don't want to get to that stage of completely closing down, which is, or being aggressive, or whether it's verbally or just, I don't want to get to a completely distraught. Maybe distraught's a good word. A distraught state of like me, sort of completely closed up and just head in hands, and in some ways it might be a blessing that if that did happen, as it feels like that it would just be really clear of okay, that's how his health is. I woke up again in the early hours, and I immediately thought about the appointment that was supposed to happen today, and immediately there was panic, and there was anger, and there's lots of emotions, and it almost feels like I need to kind of, I guess there's the perception that I need to keep that going in order to share that in the appointment. I need to keep that fire stoked. Maybe there's a fear that I'll get too calm, or I'll get to a state where there isn't that agitation, and that unwellness may recede in that moment, and again my health won't be seen, and I won't be heard, and so it feels like I'm trying to stoke this, like right now, this through rumination. I'm trying to, it probably sounds a bit strange, but remain in this unwell state. And I think without doing that, I think I'd be here anyway, but maybe it's the fear of suddenly having a slight moment of calm or clarity in a surgery where it completely gives the wrong impression of how my overall health is, if that makes sense. So there's a notion of trying to stay in touch with these difficult feelings, and not just let it wash over me in a sense where, I go into the surgery and I do what I'm trying to avoid, which is just, say everything's okay, or which I don't say that, but perhaps give that perception. Even though in the past I've used words like I'm struggling and things are difficult, but it's all sort of nodded away. It's all like, some sympathy or some empathy. But I'm not doing. It doesn't feel like I'm doing a good job in advocating for my own health and how serious or what I need. So I think I've tried to kind of remedy that with the doctor's notes I'm going to take in with me. But it's kind of another frustration, I guess, because I think when this appointment was booked before Christmas, this was when it was just about the autism questionnaire, and I was already frustrated because of what's happened so far, of it being closed, and I've had to restart it, and then now have to wait till January 5th. This was in mid-December, January 5th which is today, to get this autism process started again. And then on top of that, now in this last week, it's when kind of I've had the hit like a wall in regards to realization of I'm struggling to take care of myself. So that's kind of taken over this appointment that was for today, and ruminating for that and trying, to gather the strength and gather the words to explain, and now it's been postponed, I guess, till Tuesday. So yeah, it's all a lot. Maybe it will serve me well, even though I want to ruminate about it, and my mind's kind of almost constantly trying to figure out things, as it knows it's in trouble, and it's trying to rectify and repair stuff, but it's all, I think, in that exercise of trying to figure things out. I think it just causes more distress, really. And it's just hard to drop all these feelings in a sense and to step into a present space. Maybe there's an energy in there that's kind of shaking its fist, thinking, I need to be heard, or I need to be seen. But in these times where I'm at now, it makes no difference because I'm here alone. So I'm not here at a doctor's appointment. So it does me no good to try and ruminate about the appointment and about what's happened, because it won't change anything. So yeah, then I think there is a fear in that, perhaps, as well, of me not staying in the feelings I'm in, that it won't translate in the appointment. Say, for example, I find a pocket of really calm space and a bit of centeredness. There's the fear that will happen in the appointment as well, and I won't be able to reflect a true picture of my struggles, or what's happening, or what I need. And I think that maybe that's happened in the past, and I think part of that's also when you're in there with like a stranger and with a doctor, it's hard to be fully myself in that way, like I am recording this, perhaps a lot more accurate. But when in front of somebody, there's a surge of a little bit of energy of sitting up and trying to pay attention and things like that, and it can easily give the wrong perception that that everything's he seems okay, but really it's not the case. So yeah, I'm just trying to do my best not to succumb to all of these feelings, I guess, it's going through, and the anger and frustration. And it's another kind of another kick, I guess, with disappointment being non-existent. It's another kind of rolling back down the hill again and having to reclimb, to retool and re-prepare for this following appointment when all you want to do is kind of give up. Lots I want to say as well. I just don't feel well enough to go through that process of trying to express it, that's frustrating in itself. So it feels like lots of stuff I have to try and, for the moment, let go of. Whether it's let go of explaining things to myself, and which it's painful because it's part of keeping kind of some sanity, is to kind of sort through thoughts and feelings. But when things are so severe, it's just not possible, and it feels like by dropping it there's some harm done in that, because I've not processed, and I don't want that stuff sort of coming back up again. And I think by dropping it, I don't feel like I'm not suppressing it. I'm just not able to hold on to that, or yes, I guess if I try to describe how I'm feeling, it feels like I'm in a bit of a torturous place at the moment, a bit of mental torture, and there's no way out of it. Feels like I'm in this, and I'm kind of trapped in this space at the moment, and it's this. Yeah, I guess the only sort of relief, which doesn't appear like relief, is to try and be mindful and present. I think that will certainly bring some relief, just to get some space and distance from what's happened and all of these structures of thoughts and emotions to do with my mental health. But getting some space from that, it might be easier said than done at this moment, but I did manage to watch some, just change of subject a little bit, I did manage to watch a couple of movies yesterday. It was funny, I ended up watching some Christmas movies, and I didn't, before Christmas, there was the intention to watch them, and I think I had said it on a vlog as well, to kind of, something was wanting to watch Christmas movies leading up to Christmas, but I didn't end up doing that. I think it just all felt a bit too much, but now it's over. It seems like it's easier to watch those types of movies. So maybe I can watch some more today, perhaps. So I felt like those helped, and they're quite light movies generally as well. So maybe that helped just give my mind a break as well. I did play a few hands of poker, but my head was swirling a bit, so it was hard to really kind of enjoy it and play. Even though I'm able to share a bit on here, it still feels like a lot of stuff is like clogged up inside of me about all these thoughts and feelings about my health, and what's been happening with this doctor's appointments, the autism stuff, and everything that's gone on, I guess. Failed psychiatric referrals. So So today's Thursday, so I think when I was at the surgery, I lost track of what day it was. I thought it might have been a Tuesday or Wednesday, because then when she mentioned the Tuesday appointment, it just felt very far away. I thought, oh, that's a while away, isn't it? But today's Thursday, so it's not too bad. Friday, then the weekend, and I've taken advantage of having a bit more time, so I've kind of added to the notes, and I've typed them up as well, so I'm able to print them off, and I'll be able to print them off and give them to the doctor to read, which is, if I was to handwrite it, wouldn't be as possible, because it's really neat writing, and sometimes it can be a bit difficult to read. So yeah, so I'm just hoping this frustration and kind of anger, I guess, as well, and despair, I'm able to hopefully won't succumb to that. So it's all there right now, kind of closing in on me, and I'm, I wouldn't say fighting against it, but I'm trying not to engage in it, to make it more more powerful, more strong. Just trying to allow it to be, to allow those flames to dim on their own a little bit. But sometimes it takes a bit of time for that to happen. So maybe watching some movies and things and trying to do some activities will help just allow things to disseminate or extinguish a bit. But I feel like it's been an impact with this missed appointment, because the missed appointments, it's not just that by itself. Obviously, it represents everything else that's happened, and feels like I can feel the impact, the impression made on me. So yeah, there's no. Feels like I need a healthy voice to tell me that I'm on the right track. You're doing everything you can. And even here now, like with the thought of not engaging in those emotions and feelings, and not rewinding and replaying what's happened, kind of feels like I've lost all confidence and perspective, and it feels like I need sort of a healthy voice, inner voice, that sometimes comes to me to say, that you're doing the right thing, or you're doing okay. Yeah, hopefully I can try and trust myself with what I've just said, and actually trust in watching some movies, trust in healthy distraction, or trust in letting go of these emotions. I don't need to hold on to them. That it won't suddenly mean that I'm deceiving, or I'm playing up my health or anything like that, which is what some of those notions are not embedded, but held up by. There's a word for it. I can't think of it. Yeah, so I think that's, at least for this afternoon, just trust in trying to not engage, and try to remain present, in a sense of just getting relief, which is what I think of what I need. My head feels very heavy, and last couple of difficult nights sleep as well, rumination. So maybe I can try and have some moments of presence this afternoon, just to give those thoughts a pause or some space. And even though it feels like going against something that my thoughts kind of want me to ruminate and to engage in, and play with emotions and all of that stuff, and feel the pull of that. So I'm going to try my best to remain at a bit of space from that stuff. So that's a big plus, I guess, even just to have that small awareness that, that I'm not actually in those emotions and thoughts, which is a big plus, because if I was, that would be, I'd probably have to wait until those recede and then to come out. But thankfully at the moment I've got a tiny bit of awareness, so I'm able to not lose myself in those emotions and thoughts and narratives. So I think the rest of the afternoon, it just feels like it'll be a matter of just trying to hold on, really, just to get myself through. Just get yourself through this afternoon. So I'm kind of at this very low level of mood, I guess. And it feels like weird because I'm close to giving up in a sense as well. I'm not sure what giving up means, but it makes sense anyway, because I'm just continuing trying to do what I can for myself, but it just feels like it's not enough. So maybe I'm going to search some movies right now. That might be good just to do that right away, I think. And then just hopefully get myself to bed at a good time tonight. So I feel like the first mission was just to get through until bedtime, and then do my best to manage myself until then, and then get myself into bed at a good time. That'll be another sort of mission to do for this evening, and tomorrow's a different day, and hopefully I can maybe just draw a line underneath a little bit, perhaps. I don't know. Yeah.